All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another Neo4j live stream today with Emil Wåreus. I hope I pronounced that right. Hi, Emil.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Nice
Right
to have
enough.
you. Close enough. All right, I take that. Yeah, Emil developed a cool tool called Valkompass, which is something he's going to show us a little bit later about political programs in Sweden, and that's very interesting. So mapping political insights with graphs and AI was a little bit of the subtitle for this episode today. So yeah, I'm very happy to have you join Emil today. Thank you for coming. And yeah, how is it going? How are you today?
Yeah, it's going good. It's going. I'm doing well. So yeah, and very happy to be here. Such a cool database company, and I've been using Neo4j for quite a bit. So happy to to be able to participate here. Finally.
Cool. Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah, but up in the weeds with my next startup as well.
Okay.
Aside from tech philanthropy, so staring at the screen all day. So and probably do it all night as well. So
maybe we have some time to dive into a little bit of that as well.
yeah.
When you can share a little bit about what you're currently working on. So yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting space. I think this started back off at a hackathon. I think that happened in Malmö a couple of was it now months probably ago, where a couple of my colleagues were there as well. I think you talked to Adam, and then this came up, and then we connected, and here we are. So I think yeah, I think it's going to be fun. We had because we had just also again months ago, we had a general election in Germany a couple of months ago, and I had a guest as well talking about something similar, but he did it for the German political parties. Yeah. So I think that's interesting. It's still it's an interesting space, and very very cool topic. So I'm looking forward to this. Before we dive into Valkompass, and you hinted it a little bit at it, maybe you want to give us a few words about who you are, and what you do without when you're not analyzing political parties, maybe.
Yeah. So absolutely. I'm a spaghetti coder. I think it's the it's the perfect framing of it. Now that I founded I'm a startup tech entrepreneur. I did my first venture a few years ago called Debricked, which was an open source scanning tool that scanned code bases, found open source and security flaws and quality metrics about the open source that you used, and exited that venture 3 years ago ish. Got acquired by Micro Focus and then OpenText in a merger. So that was a pretty cool story and space to be in, scaling from sharing desks in a in a garage, more or less, to about 50 employees at the peak, and now they're to a successful exit. So that was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Congratulations on that. That's really that's nice. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. And nowadays, of course, I mean, I can't just do nothing, be an angel investor or whatever. I think it's too much fun just building things like Valkompass and other projects I'm involved in. But I'm just recently starting up my next venture called Oase. Oase.io, which is an AI company where we are building general intelligence inside organizations. So giving AI access to all your data in a real-time event stream, so it can perform time series analysis on every action in every tool in every instance that you have, and build and automate things autonomously and measure its own performance while doing that. So a bit what I lean into is probably a bit like the very tech-heavy, research-based type of ventures, and this is definitely that kind again.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Maybe we'll reserve some time towards the end, so you can give us a little bit more of your thinking, of your what you think of why you developed this new company, this new product, and let's focus on Valkompass for now. So the show is live, as you all know, if you watch this regularly. If you're tuning in right now, then please send us your question, comments. The chat is open as it is always. So I see people from London, Honduras. The other people didn't specify where they're watching from, but I see Arpad, I see Edison, Abby. Thank you for joining. Thank you for saying hi in the chat. So you can keep the I'd like to keep the conversation open as usual. So if you have any questions, any comments for Emil on any of the topics, or generally in Neo4j, then please put them in chat, and we'll see if we can address them as we go through this episode today. But yeah, Valkompass, was this purely developed through this hackathon that happened in Malmö earlier this year, or was this more of a long time project that you then culminated basically in this hackathon?
So the story of it is that we completely developed it. We created the repository when we got to the hackathon. The first thing we did, nice. After we set up our strobe lights that we also had. But we've been wanting to do this for a long time. It was me together with my former founders from my last company that kind of saw this hackathon and thought, hey, it was some time since we built something cool together. Let's pick a project and get working. Yeah. But all of us had discussed the challenge with political transparency and the availability of information for voters a long time before, and that the need to stay biased, but also the need to adapt information to the voter and the user. It was a great need for that, and I feel personally that the political climate, especially here in Sweden at least, has derailed a bit from the core principles of what's important to serving the public. For instance, going into political campaigns on social media can be very targeted to get to steer your opinion one way or another. And there are even economical incentives for different non-party non-parties to do this as well. And this doesn't, to me, that doesn't sit right. I want it to be transparent, non-biased, and not be incentivized for someone to buy your vote either directly or indirectly through different means of communicating to you. So that's the kind of base need why we felt that we needed to build Valkompassen. So this is basically a graph, a knowledge graph, and based on Neo4j with a lot of political information from verified sources. And on top of that, we are using right now Gemini, but can be any model to just summarize that to answer your questions and guide you through different topics. So about nuclear power in Sweden is a hot debate where some parties think we should develop more nuclear, some think not at all, and it can be hard to get correct information and what party stance are and why they actually argue for a particular stance. And what comes debates and so on can be rhetorics that resonate with you, but that's not that's not the rhetorics is not what builds the future. It's like the underlying political decisions and why we make them. So being able to utilize a quite lightweight AI to get the deep context of like the statistic and research behind it, or the like why different parties have a certain stance, and go up and summarize that information that really meets that particular voter. Maybe I want a long form article, then I can get that. Or I just want 3 bullets, then I can get that instead. So that's
so is it taking, so it's not just analyzing the political party programs and probably also maybe I don't know, votes from the past, or at least stances where they say, okay, we are against or in favor of something, but it also takes in the wider political or scientific debates around certain topics.
The ambition versus reality can be different things. I mean, we built this during a hackathon. We got very far, I think. But right now it only works with the official party data. So any PDFs they have on their websites for like this is our party stance and it's not and so on. Their full websites as well, containing all the different blog articles or websites. That's it for now. But we also prepared all the pipelines for votes. So on particular, they go up about 400 or 500 times a year in Riksdagen and vote on a topic, and then we can track exactly what then we have in the graph database exactly what politician is associated at that time to what party and what did they vote on, and what was like the underlying thing that they voted on, and how does that and we can connect that to the different main political topics, and then connecting that back to the party. We don't.
That is. Sorry for interrupting, but I think that is particularly interesting because, you have political programs, and they are obviously almost like a wish list for. But no political party, at least in most countries, probably can rule by themselves. So they always have to find some kind of coalition partner to work with somebody else. And then, of course, this wish list of your political program becomes somewhat diluted immediately because you have then to find agreements and find a common baseline with somebody else who is sort of in your direction, but probably not quite 100% overlapping with you. And then if you have then the voter history, you can at least say, okay, ideally they want to go for this direction, but then in the past they voted for this. So then you can kind of like assume in what direction somebody goes. So that is clearly helpful.
Yeah, and I mean one thing that works really well right now in the current version is comparing parties. So like what's one party stance on nuclear versus another, and like it outlines these are the similarities and these are the key differences and why. And that's when we get the votes in as well, we can get that additional context of like what has these parties voted differently in these different questions in the past, and now that they are in coalition, does that contradict their coalition in some way? Will do I feel that this coalition will work or not? And like surfacing that information and making that more easily available to users, I think that's powerful.
That's very powerful.
And there are, of course, like other data sources as well that we want to incorporate. This actually got quite a bit of buzz from not political parties, but other people that are active in political tech in Sweden.
Okay, cool.
So we got some good like votes deceiving actually, because sometimes they are because just because you say no to something does not necessarily mean that you think it's a bad idea, but that your idea is a bit better. But that is slightly different. So but so what I really want to incorporate instead is when the politicians start just talk to each other, and that's in Sweden that's recorded and transcribed. So we can actually so we
can import that.
we can get that that data as well. So it's not really about like voting no vote, because no can mean different things in this case. So like,
absolutely,
getting those transcription, and maybe this politician said this that maybe aligns with your views, and here's another politician that can have other perspectives that maybe is important to you, and kind of surfacing information like that could be a powerful thing here as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. I have a comment here from John. Quickly read that out. John says, it's a great topic. Emerging digital democracy may allow us to vote directly for principles and policies instead of personalities and political parties. So yeah, that's another concept, I guess, that you can vote on certain, put something in at least on the table. I don't know how direct they will allow, and I'm not even sure, from a personal perspective, I don't think everything should be allowed to vote by public. Majority. I'm looking at you, Brexit. So maybe not a good idea, but for some others, definitely agreed. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to think about. What do people think about this? Can they build an like what you said at the beginning, an unbiased, uninfluenced opinion about something, or at least can they get as much information about some topic that is at least tries to be as neutral as possible, so that they then can decide, okay, I'm in favor or against something, without having all the messaged themes that will then give you push you in a certain direction, which is making it harder than for making that unbiased decision and say, okay, yeah, I'm actually in favor of it, not because somebody tells me to, but because I actually feel this is the right way it should be going.
Yeah, and I have a different take here, and that is I don't think that we should vote on everything.
No.
We need to create a system or that incentivize politicians to be honest, transparent, and not use tricks, rhetorical tricks, or tactics to buy votes, or not to buy votes, but to get votes, but instead just have good politics. And like, if I get to dream really big about what Valkompass and similar can be, it's not like a platform that that becomes a direct voting system, but a platform that can influence politicians to appeal to a more transparent communication and transparent politics that better align with what they're actually going to execute, and collaboration between parties that are fruitful, not to like one part, even though different sides of or different parties and different blocks may agree on something, they still vote each other down just to get the other party to look bad. And that's not I think we are in this place because the incentives for politicians and parties are not set up to always to have a great agenda within politics, but to win the next election.
I think that's a big issue. Winning the next election instead of doing something that is on a long run, the better decision. And nobody, I hope for that this is becoming a standard in the hopefully as soon as possible, that then if you say something as a politician, you get fact checked basically immediately by something like an AI tool, a Valkompass or something like this. And you can say, okay, but in the past you voted this. In the past you said this. In the past this was what these are the reasons or the sources we can throw you in, in front of you. Why are you all of a sudden saying something completely different? And I think that could be very helpful to find out and to see, okay, is this actually is deceiving or not? So
yeah, and I think like in that situation, of course, the right thing to do is, I've changed my mind. I've learned something new, and that's why I've changed my opinion here in the past. But I didn't have information why about so now we move forward with that instead. And I think instead of trying to maybe appeal to two different bases of voters that are non-compatible at the same time, which can be common, maybe not in Sweden, but in other parts of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, before we dive into or slip into a completely political discussion, which obviously this is not supposed to be the stage for this show, let's go back to what technology you used and how you built it, maybe. And I think maybe a little demo is due, so people can actually see how it works.
Absolutely. Let's all right. So this is localhost. So here we have Valkompass.ai. For English speakers, I'm sorry, it's in Sweden. It's in Swedish, so we didn't translate it. But I'll do some rough translation for you as we go. It's basically just a chat right now that shoots questions and searches at a Neo4j graph database that is modeled like a knowledge graph of the different political parties, their different that they have and types of documents, different topics. So topics like energy, immigration, economics, healthcare, etc. And try and searching that knowledge graph and traversing it with different filters, doing multiple searches at the same time, and trying to find the information you need, and then simply summarizes that for you in the way that you ask it to do so. So let's start with a simple question. What does the moderate party think about nuclear? So what happens now is that we actually first capture the initial question here, and then split that up into multiple queries into the graph database, and we filter it on the different topics that we hit, and the different parties that you ask about. So this is guaranteed to only get, we're not guaranteed, but get close enough to for now to get the moderate parties information for this instance. And then it traverses that graph and grabs information from the graph, where we have the raw text of different parts of documents, as well as embeddings. So we use vector search, semantic search to find the relevant nodes in the graph, and then we use the filter and traversal, a simple traversal algorithm to get to whatever document information we need here. So here we can see that the moderate party wants to give nuclear regulatory, economical, and political ground to advance and build it in Sweden. And we give quite a bit of reference here from what we found. So here we found on their website information about their energy stance. So so here we can see that it's quite accurately referencing different parts of like a website or a document. I think we can see a document here. Val Manifest 2022, that was removed. That was yeah, that's been removed from their website. But we have the document that we parsed in the back here. They probably have a new one at this point.
They probably have replaced it, yeah.
Yeah, but then we can also ask things like a follow-up question. So what's the environmental party's stance on this topic? And then it has the context. So now it goes in and filters out all the documents, etc., in the graph from the environmental party. The topic still understands that the topic is nuclear, and then it goes and traverses that graph to find these documents.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
And yeah, that's a lot. But it
gives you, I assume there's a summary at the beginning that kind of says the rough sentiment. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but then, I mean, we didn't spend too much time on getting this very, very accurate. But I think that one cool thing is that if I ask the same question again and clean the chat here, is so I think this is part of why a lightweight AI-based approach here is important. That here I just told it to give me a shorter answer in bullet points, and then it gave me a shorter answer with bullet points. Yeah. So I can engage with this information that can be quite complex and information in a way that appeals to me personally. So it's easier for me to explore and dive deeper, or stay quite shallow if I want to, but still get the very accurate information about the different political stances.
And it's still not made up out of thin air, but it is actually based on the political party program. Like the three links at the bottom there is probably the sources.
Yeah, and I mean, this is at first it's like very brute thing right now, but what we want to, other than incorporating more data into this, we want to build an experience around it where it's more agentic and building a profile for you and guiding you through parties and different topics that may be appealing to you. And like one of the main things that we thought was a problem was that we do have these election compasses in Sweden, quite a few of them, but there are like 10 to 20 questions where personally I usually think that maybe 70% of the questions I don't care about, or they are very directed towards a certain topic that that's not. I don't think it's important. Well, some things I do think is very important, and it's not it's not about being pro-nuclear or against nuclear. It's like how you're against or how you're pro, and the details. I want to explore that. That should be a large part of what I think about different parties, not just pro versus not. And like the other 70% of what they ask me about, what I think, I mean, I don't care about it. Maybe for this instance, and so I should be able to like drill deeper into the things I really, really care about. But then also like being able to get it in this agentic mode to ask follow-up questions on topics that it may think that you also should be interested in, and like counter topics that's like, this is a completely different thing that maybe you haven't thought about, to kind of help and guide the user to explore more, and build this personal profile that should be completely in the browser, privacy preserving, and not sent to our servers in any way, shape.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's interesting. And then you have sort of like, especially the reasons why something is in favor of or against something. I think that's also helpful, right? To understand if you really get in there and want to read. Okay, I think I'm against something, and then I see, okay, which other parties are against it, and then but maybe I'm surprised that some other parties in favor of something, and then I can at least know why and how, and I think that is helpful a lot, and this is applicable to anything, right? I mean, that's why I think it is also relevant for other use cases or other applications, right? I mean, now we're talking about political parties, but imagine you have your enterprise resource files in there, you have Q&A documents in there, you have whatever else you have in there. I mean, you ask a question, you want to know why something comes back as an answer. You want to get the full information about it, and not just a yes or no kind of reply.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are many similar situations where the details actually matter quite a lot, and but it's just an information overload. I can't read through I can't read through all the different budgets for all the different parties, and reasonably understand it. But I can explore them together with tools like this to get to like the conclusions or get to the information that I actually want to explore. So I think this is one of it's not underutilized. It's definitely not underutilized, but I think it's such a powerful way to like have this very broad information that is that's just too much to grasp, and just get a very personalized version of that information to people is powerful.
Yeah, this is just too much these days on any topic. I mean, it could be like in this case political parties, but it's anything is as a little bit of an overload. Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's a question from Gozia in the chat. Gozia asks if the resources are links, and where the links and the answers are coming. Do they come from authoritative sources? So I think you shared this in the beginning, but maybe go over it quickly one more time.
Yeah, and I think this is quite important. That the answer is yes, but I think developing such a platform like this, that it's important that it is like the ultimate form of transparency here. So we actually took some pretty weird decisions, weird things to do as developers to get to like ultimate. So what we do is that everything is managed from the GitHub repository, even all the data. So all the data that we commit that we store in the Neo4j database is version controlled. So what we do is that we have like an analysis pipeline that can be verified, and we have different sources. So right now it's political documents that we downloaded from their websites and their actual websites. So these are the two sources of information we have, and it goes through a pipeline where it first where we commit the actual underlying data to the code base. So all documents are here for the different parties. So we have we have the scraped web pages in a JSON and their PDFs as well. And going from there, we have a pipeline that breaks it out. It embeds the different parts of documents and parses out the documents, and then it trains a small machine learning model for topic analysis, trying to find the topics it belongs to and creating the edges in the graph. And then we store the structured knowledge base in here are the topics and for each document here. So all the data from the different websites and documents that is quickly open source, and any change is handled by here through Git as well. Let's open this, but I probably can't view this file because it's very large. Let's see if the computer breaks down. Yeah. So here you can see they have like the raw contents of that particular file, and then it's an embedding for well. And every time we deploy, we simply tear down the instance of Neo4j or like remove all data and just insert all the latest data from the repository.
Ooh. I think that we lost Emil for a bit. Hopefully he can come back. So what is interesting here is that here nice, Emil is back. All right. Emil, we lost you for a little second there.
Yeah.
But let's be back here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
Am I still
was too large after all.
The JSON we disconnected. maybe it was, but yeah. So these are the different sources that we have, and plan to include like official political data, such as the votes, as well as what they say in Riksdagen. And then we're also considering adding official statistical data from, we have in Sweden something called Statistiska centralbyrån, so the official Bureau of Statistics, where we have like official statistics about about Sweden, like how immigration is going, our power consumption, and what are the average grades in schools, and how differing between different parts of Sweden, etc. And adding that to Valkompass, so that you can get not only the party stance on something, but also information about like they're usually basing their stances on some type of underlying data and statistics, but surfacing something that is related to their stance as well.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point, right? When you have the official statistics and sources, we can always connect to and can say, okay, the political party XY is in favor or against something, and this is the reason. And then you could technically, I don't know if you want to, but you could then probably add in information about, okay, but the scientific evidence is this or that, and the historical reasons on, let's say, power consumption are this or that, and then you could probably see that maybe some stances, maybe some positions are a little bit, difficult to defend against. Maybe could be.
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually kind of funny because it was a very recent debate here in Sweden between all the party leaders. And I think that debate actually perfectly surfaces why something like this is needed. Because it was not a very nice debate to watch, in my opinion. and it was a lot of these trickeries, interruptions everywhere, and people didn't get to speak and so on. And they actually had to come out afterwards and do quite a bit of corrections, because either they were mistaken or deliberately misleading in parts of what they were saying. I'm not gonna take examples here, but
I know what you mean, and I think the same is true for lots of lots of these the political debates where you and I'm kind of like the same, completely on your pages. Like I feel where you have the capabilities, you have the technical possibilities and the power to do it. Don't do it afterwards. Do it right then and there when somebody says something. Either maybe they misspoke, maybe they confused, maybe that's all fair. Nobody's perfect, right? You can always make mistakes, but then correct them right then and there. Or if somebody actually tries to mislead you, then it's also shown and directly also put up.
Yeah, and I mean that's still I think it's all about the incentives again. Like if you earn more than you lose on lying, then people will probably lie, and even though it's the wrong thing to do. So I think make sure that it's actually not either it's not as easy to lie or say the wrong thing, but also I assume that a lot of the time it's just mistakes. I mean, I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for politicians, and they have to keep so much data and stances and history in their heads, and being able to say things like that, like they do on the spot, is hard. And of course, they make mistakes, but correct them straight away is probably the right answer.
Yeah, agreed. I think that also now I hope so, but Wing Chun, tell us if not. The question was, how do you organize the data? How do you capture unbiased political opinions? I think you just outlined that. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to say on that in terms of maybe your how do you, maybe what's interesting for us here in this show is more how do you model your data in the graph? Is there a specific schema, a specific graph data model you have come up with?
Yes, I think they tie together in some sense as well. I think it's to make the model. When we tried it out, of course we first just built like basic RAG and like one type of node. It searched that and it got answers. But I think then it was not truthful. Less truthful than now because it mixed up parties. So maybe it accidentally got like one party's documents alongside the right documents, and then it kind of mixed those and morphed those into a stance, which is not great. So one important thing that got performance was that we modeled the documents in one node, and then we related those to parties. And then we related the documents to topics as well. So this is like the basis of the graph, and each document can relate to many different topics, and each document can only be in one party. And then going in and searching the graph, filtering on parties. So we get such a complete picture as possible from one party, and alongside also filtering on these different topics. And we got the topics from by doing a simple topic analysis model that we trained during the hackathon. Just which is basically clustering the different documents that we had that we found into a reasonable amount of different topics. I think it's 20, 30 or something like that. And then it goes in and filters on those topics to reach the information underneath. And what we want to add to this as well is to add like politicians. But that can be a bit trickier, as there are there's history in what in what parties they are affiliated with. Some are maybe not affiliated with any party, and then of course the different policies and their votes on those policies. is something that that we want to model in this graph as well.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds exciting. No more, or no, rather more and more data sources getting into that. I think that makes it richer and richer. And again, trying to compare this with other use cases where you have this is always important to have a good data model. It's always important to have that view onto your data that then gives you a higher accuracy output. And I think your journey showcases one of those prime examples. Again, is like, okay, you can get quick results with standard tools. You can get there with traditional RAG, but then oftentimes mistakes are made, and things are maybe muddled together, and then it's not quite the accuracy, not quite the quality of answers you want to have in certain aspects. And maybe sometimes it's fine, totally, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you have something where you say, okay, I need a quick answer and it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, it's okay if it's roughly there, then sure. But most of the times you want something that is a bit more accurate, and doesn't make things up, and doesn't mix things together that are not supposed to be mixed together, or not quite connected together at all, I guess. And then you need to think about, okay, what else can we do, and how can we make that context, how can we make that memory persist across a large amount of data. And then look at Neo4j. I guess is my answer, but I'm biased here as well, so I cannot. Speaking of biases,
but I think right now it's not a lot of data, and it's very little data for a Neo4j instance. But but when adding more information on what people are saying, and talking to different people in debates, etc., as well as the votes, I think there are, even if graph databases and knowledge graphs are appealing now, I think the appeal will increase there as well, because then we can do a bit more advanced graph analysis to find like contradicting and related stances among parties in different topics, etc., and do that type of analysis. Because one thing that is important is, I think, the recall. So it's not one thing about are we getting relevant documents that we put in the context window of the LLM? That's one part. But I think another part, maybe it's more important for this particular tool that we don't miss any relevant topics at all. If we put in one extra thing in the context that's not relevant, that's maybe okay, but we shouldn't miss anything. And that becomes, I think, traversing the graph and not only relying on semantic similarity can be powerful here. Or I know I've done other larger scale products with Neo4j that where techniques like that were very fruitful. So
before, I think I wanted to spend at least a couple of minutes, because you hinted at a couple of other projects you're working on. There's one more. Let's maybe pick this one more question from Fazad. I'm thinking, from what I understand, he speaks Swedish, so he asked the question, what's the funniest thing about Swedish politics, and he got an answer about that the white snus, white nicotine pouches are supposed to be, I think, abolished or something, or are not, and then that the Swedish Democrats view this as a threat to Swedish culture and a bureaucratic overreach by Brussels. The question, I think, from him is are there any rail guards, I guess, in the system? Do you plan to have any rail guards in there? Is setting up rail guards is probably hard, and how do you define that?
Yeah, and I mean, if you try to break this, you will do it. you will. It's very much a hack thing together right now that we want to polish more and see if we can get it good enough for the election. And if it's not good enough, we will take it down so people don't use it if it's not if we don't feel it's on the right quality for an election. But I think my stance is that we should have guardrails, but you should be able to ask, is there a racist party? And no matter no matter an opinion on that, it should give you an answer and make it unbiased and understand your maybe trying to understand your underlying question and so on. But I think the danger. I'm more worried about putting in too much guardrails, so that it can, so that we maybe make it don't accept certain questions from people that have these questions and so on. So that's my point. But again, I think if this is something we will publish, we won't be leading this as dictators. It's an open source project. All data is open source. It's MIT. Fork it and make a competing project if you want. If you don't think it's good enough, and we will try to run this in a efficient and transparent way when we develop this and try to publish proof that it is unbiased. It blocks very bad content, but questions, but maybe controversial topics are definitely okay.
Yeah. I think it's difficult, right? You want to put too many guardrails in, and then it's a bit too confined. You do want to have people explore. You want to get to an answer. And if you have, the good thing is you can always put out your resources and can say, okay, this is why this and this has been derived from, and the chatbot came up with this answer. And if then a user disagrees, and I think this is another point where something like this could benefit a lot from is feedback loops, where you have then, users that will ask questions, and user can give you a feedback and can say, okay, yeah, this was a good answer, this was a bad answer. And if lots of users use this, come with the decision that this is a bad answer, then think about, okay, what can be done about it? Is there a source issue? Is there some other issue that created this wrong answer, or this slightly misleading answer, maybe even? And then you can tweak it and then improve it over the time it goes on.
Absolutely, and I think publishing such feedback and making data like that available can be very powerful. And I mean, our goal here is not that our end goal is not that our code should be important to people. Our goal is that people can make more informed votes in the coming elections. And if it turns out that maybe we produce a very good benchmark for this is an unbiased political chatbot, and someone else gets value from that data and competes with us, I think that's a very great spot to be for. So yeah, I hope to spend more time on validating its unbias and understanding how it answers questions that maybe it shouldn't answer, and trying to understand where is that line. But that's a tricky one.
That is definitely tricky. Yeah. Now we only have a couple of minutes left, so you mentioned that you work on other projects. So you want to give a quick teaser on what else you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So my next company, it's called OAS. So it's general autonomous intelligence inside organizations. So the point is that you have something like you have a chat interface. It has access to a real-time stream of all your data, and you can build automations on that data, and it can take and it can automate processes that maybe is important for your sales team or your development team. We are currently in our closed beta phase, so we have some users that we work very closely with to polish up the platform now, that use it to automate like negotiations with insurance companies. For instance,
Cool.
is a good one.
Yeah.
We have more advanced customer support by email, and we have sales gathering more advanced intelligence before sales calls. And we of course use it heavily for developing, for instance. So it's quite cool to have a platform that develops itself right now. So correlating like usage in the tool and sentry errors, and getting that into the system, analyzing the error, submitting a pull request to fix itself is quite a cool thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds funny and interesting for sure. So you have something cool going on there, and it looks like you can basically string together a couple of different tools and different mechanisms, and then execute on those.
Yeah. So, and I think a core part here is that to increase the cap of intelligence, we can't isolate intelligence to one system. It's something that lives in between the different systems we work in. So if you create AI in a CRM system, it doesn't know enough about the development processes and so on to give the best feedback or automatically fix issues. And your development tools doesn't know enough about the customers to do that as well. I think intelligence is something that in the end will live in the network between the different systems that we have.
Absolutely. I think that is one of the recent movements towards when everything went a little bit more into agents, agentic AI, the MCP servers and all of that. I think we realized quickly that there needs to be something like a persistent memory, a long-term memory, or a short-term memory, but even at least a memory that these tools, these agents can rely on, because otherwise they are sitting in their own and don't have they lose the grip on it, and they don't have the context, they don't have the memory, and with that they make mistakes, and then they pile up, and then in the beginning you have this system that kind of works, but all of a sudden when it runs a couple of times, it has created all of these issues and errors, and then they pile up, and then they muddle together, and then it's no good anymore. So it's becoming too big for its own sake, I guess, and because it loses then vital information, and makes mistakes that you don't want to. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think also like agents are agents do very well if they are narrow and with a controlled context. And to increase the power of your agentic workflows, you need to split it up. Sorry. You need to split it up into multiple sub-agents that have a more controlled context window and a controlled set of tools. But I think, so it's not as humans. We are not smart because we have one big human that knows everything. we are we are smart because we are interconnected and can perform very well in narrow tasks, but collaborate to achieve something greater. And I think it's the same thing for AI agents. For a long time, I had at least that stringing together a multiple agents in an orchestration to achieve something bigger will be a lot more effective in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that brings us to the end of today's show. Again, thank you very much, Emil, for participating today, for the nice conversation, and for developing Valkompass. So if you are, Swedish speaker, check it out. If you're not, I guess maybe Google Translate can help a little bit with the website, and at least play around with it. The GitHub repo is also linked in the YouTube video description. So if you want to look at the code, you can do that there. For the next sessions, we have a couple of workshops, Road to Nodes workshops. We have 2 next week because one was supposed to happen this week, but it was cancelled due to illness. So if you are interested in joining a Road to Nodes workshop specifically on what we, not specifically, but kind of close to what we said today or talked about today, we will do one on Tuesday the 22nd on MCP, knowledge graphs with AI agents and on the Neo4j MCP server, and on the 23rd, we're gonna do one on Aura agents, so the new capability on Neo4j Aura, where you can build your own agents directly from the platform. And the week after is the week before Nodes. So can you believe Nodes is basically a couple of weeks away? On the 28th, I have invited a couple of speakers, these 4 you see here, to a little roundtable. To give us a bit of insight into what they're going to talk about at Nodes and what they share during their presentations, and we'll discuss AI for sure, but also graphs in general. So if that is interesting to you, check it out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I mentioned Nodes. Here it is, 6th of November. You have, and today is Thursday, so you have 3 weeks time. So 3 weeks, basically 21 days until Nodes. So hope to see you there. It's going to be a really fun event. Almost 24 hours, full around the clock event with all these interesting topics from AI to graph. So hope to join. Hope to see you join. And yeah, if you want to know more, the Graph Academy is a great place to learn, to start your graph journey with interesting courses. We have something on building a chatbot. We have something on knowledge graph. We have something on generic Neo4j learning courses. So I think that's a great place for you to check it out. And if you want to get your hands on and build something like Valkompass or something else, check out Neo4j Aura, which is our free tier, of course, graph database as a service offering. We can just start with that and build. It gives you plenty of power for a project to kick things off. And yeah, I think with that, thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating. Do like and subscribe the channel if you want to see more of these conversations. And again, Emil, thank you very much for being here today and for joining.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to be here. Start the GitHub repository while you're there. That helps out as well.
Absolutely, do that.